What is the mark of the beast? In this time of corona panic, contact tracing, and vaccine obsession, I've heard many crazy theories. Firstly, my starting position is the Bible is the inerrant word of God. What the Bible says on this topic is absolute truth and not to be dismissed or manipulated. At least, not if you're seeking truth and a biblically consistent position. So, if you're a Bible-believing Christian, I hope this post will assist you in cutting through the garbage being disseminated in the online world. So what does the Bible say about the mark of the beast? Let's turn to Revelation 13 to get the details straight from the Word of God. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world marvelled and followed the beast. So they worshipped the dragon, who gave authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And he was given a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months, that's 3.5 years. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation, worldwide dominion. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs, which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who understands, who has understanding, calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. It's not my intention in this video to exegete and explain every verse in the 13th chapter of Revelation. I've already done this with 2 sermons on Revelation. Take a look at my YouTube channel if you're interested. I read the entire chapter now merely to give the context of the mark of the beast. All scripture must be understood in its proper context. The mark of the beast can only occur once these 2 beastly rulers come to power, during the time of tribulation, preceding the second coming. Many prophecies have been given about this time of horror to come upon the earth. Daniel calls this a time of trouble. Isaiah calls it God's awesome or strange work. Moses called it the day of their calamity. Jeremiah called it the time of Jacob's troubles. Zephaniah called it the day of wrath, the day of trouble and distress, a day of devastation and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of trumpet and alarm. Paul called it the wrath to come and the day of the Lord. John calls this day the wrath of the Lamb, the hour of trial, and the hour of judgment. And Jesus himself called this day the Great Tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world. God has repeatedly warned from Moses' Pentateuch to John's Apocalypse that this terrible day is coming, right throughout his word, from the very beginning to the very end. And this time could commence at any moment. Yet most Christians don't believe this day will come. Well, the Revelation 13, mark of the beast, must be read in the context of this time of the Great Tribulation. Who is the one who causes all to take the mark? The second beast of Revelation 13, who informed Bible students referred to as the false prophet. This second beast, this false prophet, is going to demand all take this mark. No one will be exempt. All will be forced to receive this mark right across the world. The only two choices the earth dwellers will have: do you want it on your right hand or your forehead? And do you want Antichrist's mark, which will probably be a likeness of Antichrist? Or would you prefer his name? Or perhaps just his number on your body? These will be your choices. 2 locations on your body and 3 style choices to pick from. And if you don't take this mark, you'll not be able to buy or sell. That's what's coming. And we see echoes of this already in place. But worse than being locked out of the economy, anyone not willing to worship the image of the beast or Antichrist will be killed under the authority of the false prophet. And the Bible even confirms his method of execution. Beheading will be his modus operandi. See Revelation 20, verse 4. So the mark will initially just restrict people from commerce, but eventually refusing the mark will result in your execution. I've heard people recently trying to say the COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast. I've heard others saying the QR code or the phone app used with the code is the mark of the beast. Still others trying to link 5G to phone tech with the mark of the beast. Let me say this emphatically. The COVID vaccine is not the mark of the beast. The QR code or contact tracing is not the mark of the beast, and 5G phone tech is not the mark of the beast. They don't fit the biblical descriptions. The Antichrist and his false prophet must be revealed and in a place of world power before his mark can appear. Now, I'm certainly not a virologist or a medical practitioner, so I won't be offering medical advice. But I will say to any Christian listening, wake up. Look what's happening in the world. Be on the alert. Get about serving Jesus, because his coming has never been closer. And I will also boldly declare, Australia is no longer recognisable as the country I grew up in. Our country is being radically altered. The hard-won freedoms our forefathers were willing to fight for and even die for in their thousands are disappearing before our very eyes. Some things we should be willing to die for. Churches are shut. It's illegal, as I'm posting this, for Christians in Sydney to go to church. Prayer meetings and Bible studies are illegal in Sydney. Illegal! You'd be breaking the law if you conducted a face-to-face Bible study or prayer meeting in Sydney today. Sydney is no longer free. This isn't arguable. This is a fact. We've been lulled. We've been bullied into an Orwellian dystopian existence. It is illegal and punishable by heavy fines for me to visit my family or friends. How outrageous. I'm not even allowed to leave my house for all but a few very specific essential things. If the police catch me outside and I'm not doing one of these very specific things, they can and will impose heavy fines and worse. I've become a prisoner in my own house with a short day release pass for a few essential things, along with millions of other Sydney-siders. Christians need to wake up and look at what's happening in our own country. Our great democracy is vanishing before our eyes. Our freedoms have been stolen from us. And this is happening throughout the world. And Christians say nothing. We're not in the time of the Great Tribulation, but I think we're getting very close and things are going to get much worse. The Antichrist has not been revealed and his mark not yet imposed upon the world, but I doubt his time is very far away. Where are our Christian leaders? These lukewarm Laodicean leaders, where are they? Why aren't they speaking out for us? Why aren't they standing up? I'll tell you why. Because most of them have been brainwashed in their seminaries and Bible colleges with terrible theology. Most of them don't believe that the Antichrist is coming or that there is a coming great tribulation. They don't believe the very word of God they proclaim to teach. They're clueless of the threat that's looming. They can't read the signs of our perilous times. Their distorted theology has them dismissing the Bible prophecies, the particular and specific Bible prophecies of the times leading up to the second coming. Therefore, they can't see what's happening. They're asleep at the wheel. Our Laodicean leaders are happy streaming online church services. Well, that isn't church, and that isn't Christian fellowship. Our country is being radically altered. We live in a police state. Our governments are not being held to account by the COVID-obsessed media. Massive mental health problems are rippling through the city of Sydney, and the New South Wales Health Department and Chief Health Officer, who are on huge salaries, they're locking us up in our own homes. They say for the sake of our own health. Many thousands, many tens of thousands of people have no job. Businesses are being destroyed. People have no ability to pay their mortgages or rents or power bills, or even, in some instances, many instances, even put food on their tables. But our home detention, we're told, is for our own good, because we're too stupid to know what our own good is. Schools shut down. Our children are missing out on their education. Essential years, early years of education destroyed in the name of our children's health. Businesses bankrupting, credit ratings destroyed, all for our own good. This is what our government is doing to us, and expecting us to be thankful to them for so looking after us and caring for our health. We live in a city where smart people are being silenced so that stupid people don't get offended. Surely this can't be Sydney, Australia. I hear talk of vaccine passports, and Christians aren't saying anything. Where do you think this is leading? My guess is your vaccine status will eventually be included in your QR scanning app. Let's wait and see if I'm right. If I leave my house right now to go shopping, the government demands that I scan a QR code so that I can't buy or sell unless I use the QR code. Does that sound familiar to Christians? Can you think of anywhere in the Bible where something similar to this is prophesied? Just yesterday, I saw a group of brutish police wrestling an old couple to the ground, handcuffing them, arresting them for the crime of bypassing the QR code. Disgraceful. And the police just say, oh, we're just doing our job. And don't you think these QR codes are ever going to be removed? I believe these symbols will ultimately be that which will control us permanently, imprisoning us. Why aren't Christians shouting about this from the rooftops. The QR code is not the mark of the beast, but could it be a forerunner, a trial run, a sign of things soon to come upon the earth? Could it be Satan practicing for when he releases the son of perdition? Can this really be Australia? We're no longer young and free. We can no longer sing, advance Australia fair, because there is no fairness. And Christians remain silent, like prawns sitting in a pot of water above a flame of fire. The water gets hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and roasting those prawns. The writer of Hebrews in the 10th chapter exhorted us, let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. We serve a faithful Redeemer. Cling tightly to Jesus in these days of tyranny, in these totalitarian times. We have a sure and certain hope. We have no need to fear. We must be bold in Christ. Verse 24, let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works. Get about doing the good works of Jesus. Love your brothers and sisters in the Lord and share the gospel of Jesus far and wide. Don't spend your precious time running down the rabbit holes of one conspiracy theory after the next. Get about the business of serving Jesus. Verse 25, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as is the manner of some, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Listen to me. The day of Jesus' second coming is rapidly approaching, and our misguided secular leaders have already temporarily stopped us believers from assembling together. Disgraceful. And our lazy, worthless Christian leaders say nothing about all this. They're silent. I tell you, greater days of tyranny are coming upon this earth. I doubt the New South Wales Premier has any clue she's preparing the path for the coming beast, the Antichrist. But surely she and many other powerful politicians are doing just this. A mark, a code which controls and runs our lives. A mark which it's getting very difficult to buy or sell without us using. The French president just announced a whole series of things French people will not be able to do without this vaccination pass. And I hear the ranting woke left pushing and goading our leaders to go harder, lock people down more thoroughly, lock them up, force people to get vaccinated. Don't let people buy or sell unless they can prove they've been vaccinated. A combination of the vaccine and contact tracing, the QR code, they tell us, is our pathway back to freedom. That's a lie. Don't be so naive as to think 2 jabs and you're free. No way. A 6 or 12 monthly booster jab is surely the future we face. A world of drug-dependent dupes forced into being perpetually inoculated. Now, I'm not one of those crazy anti-vaxxers. I've read their posts and I think they're mad. But I can clearly see what the people of the world are blindly and obediently lining up for. People must wake up and understand what's coming. The very same people who chant, my body, my choice, when it comes to abortion, will soon be chanting, your body, our choice, when it comes to vaccinations. Make them take it. Don't let them buy or sell unless they submit. Make them take the annual or biannual booster. Sydney is a shadow of its former fun-loving self. Australia is no longer recognisable as the country I was born and raised in. The Western world is no longer the free world. All the TV stations, all the radio programs, all the newspapers, all social media are all singing from the same hymn sheet. And 80% in our society, maybe 90%, blindly bow to this growing tyranny. And even gleefully dob in their friends and family who disobey. disgraceful. Jesus rightly foretold the love of many will grow cold in the last days. Try bucking the trend. Try singing from a different hymn sheet. You'll be cancelled. You'll see how cold the hearts of men and women have become. Busybodies are already harassing people. Haven't you been vaccinated yet? I'm going to get vaccinated. When are you getting vaccinated? Mind your own business. It's no one's business but my own whether I get vaccinated or not. But the Sydney I knew is gone. Australia is unrecognisable. The Western world has shifted to tyranny and authoritarianism. Our freedoms are rapidly evaporating. Pastors have been thrown in prison simply for opening their churches. Saints of God, the day of Christ is rapidly approaching. Christians, wake up to the signs of our immediate times. The Antichrist is soon to be revealed. The coming great tribulation is surely nearby. The mark of the beast is coming, for certain. So get on with serving Jesus with your whole heart, soul, and mind while you can. And if you're interested in what I've said, and Jesus isn't the Lord of your life, go and find someone you know who's serious about Jesus and talk with them about him. Talk with them about eternal life and salvation. Your eternal destiny is on the line. If you don't know someone who's serious about Jesus, get on your knees and pray directly to God. Nothing is more important than you coming into a right relationship with Jesus, the Messiah, and your only hope for eternal life.